Today, we're very excited to have our guest. I'm looking forward to this conversation that we're going to have with yourself, Kgaogelo.
Planning. You cannot run away from planning. You don't plan your life, you'll not go anywhere. So plan, and if you can't plan, get somebody who can help you plan. Get a business manager, get a financial coach, get somebody, take accountability for that. Then you'll be able to get to where you want to go. So planning is number one. Number two, pay yourself a salary.
Applying yourself like a corporate
Yeah.
in different areas, even as simple as when you need to hire staff, engage a recruitment company
Yeah.
to be able to, as best as possible, make your time stretch for the things that it needs to be focused on,
Yes.
but also to be able to get in the right type of people into the business, be able to get the right type of culture.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Monetise Your Business, which we're very excited to be in partnership with FNB. I'm very glad that we're going to be able to have another discussion here with another entrepreneur. I'm your host for today, Papa Biz, and I'm looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having. Before we begin, I'd just like to share just a thought that I've been having this week in the entrepreneurial space. I finished a book called Alchemy. It's by Rory Sutherland, and it just talks around the psychology of people, human beings, when it comes to marketing and driving business. One element that he spoke about, which sometimes we don't think as often when we're in business, around the psychology of human beings. He spoke about how in the beginning, the McDonald's business, they removed cutlery from all their restaurants in the beginning to make it very clear to people how their food was meant to be eaten. So for now, we take it all for granted. You have a hamburger and you just take it and you eat it. But they'd realized that from a psychological point of view, if they didn't do that, they were going to be confusing their customers in terms of how this food was supposed to be eaten. And this was something they did right early on in the beginning. And it just reminded me in terms of, when we're running our businesses, often there's a lot of things that we're chasing and to get sales and to get people in and staff and so on. And it's sometimes also pertinent to just spend time understanding the psychology of people and how that works. I mean, myself, I like to read a lot of books that also engage around psychology, just so that we can understand the human behavior. Because it's not always as simple as I tell somebody I've got this business and then they give me their money. It doesn't really work like that. So it's just food for thought that it made me think of. But yes, actually brings us back today. We're very excited to have our guest. I'm looking forward to this conversation that we're going to have with yourself, Kgaogelo. And so welcome to this episode.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be part of your podcast.
No problem. So, I mean, just to start off, maybe you can just let us know just a little bit about your business, just in a nutshell. And then I just want to go a bit and learn just a little bit about yourself, just from a bit earlier on. We shared a little conversation that I'd like to share with the listeners.
Okay, so my business is a Blue Star. It's a financial service provider where we offer clients with holistic advice in terms of their retirement planning, their investments, their risk planning, their business assurance. So we are all rounder in terms of what we are offering. And so, it is nice to have a place where you can give clients everything, short-term insurance, medical aid, everything in one setting. So that's what the business entails. But also I've got another business, which is a brick making business, which is completely different.
Of course.
I also started one back in Limpopo, which I'm also running simultaneously to this as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, before we delve into the details of the business, maybe just to let the audience a little bit to know where you're from, where were you raised, just a little bit about yourself from beforehand.
So my name is Kgaogelo Sekgota, and I was born and raised in Limpopo in a small village called Eetcake, where it's, a very nice knitted family community where, it was brothers and sisters that bought this land.
Okay.
And so they, raised their families there. it is like, I mean, if you go to our village now, it's like you step into the 1950s. It's a very knitted community where we were raised by professional women and along with their husbands that, took care of the village.
Okay.
And I think most of the children that they've raised as well are professionals.
Okay.
And so, that's where I was raised and bred, and the values were taught by the community, were taught by our mothers and our fathers.
Oh, wow.
We understood what, our mothers did, what our fathers did, and we were taken through that process, as growing up in that community for us.
Okay.
So it was, that's where I come from, and that's me basically in a nutshell. But also, I'm a mom
Okay.
to your 8-year-old boy.
Hey, nice one.
Keeping me very busy. Is a fireball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that just summarized a little bit about myself.
Okay. And from schooling, I mean, where did you end up going to study afterwards and so on?
Sure. When I left high school, which I it was in Limpopo. I went to a Settlers Agricultural High School. I then from there went to University of the Free State to do my undergrad. I did
in the Free
BCom
State?
in the Free State. Yes,
I grew
Bloemfontein.
I grew up in Kimberley.
Nice.
Almost ended up there in Bloemfontein, but no, there were other plans for me when I ended up Pretoria University. Okay, so Bloemfontein.
Yes, so I crossed, a province to go study because
Yeah,
I
you
wanted
cross
something
province,
new.
I cross province. Yeah,
You
that's how
cross
it is.
province, yeah. So it was for me also choosing Bloemfontein was actually a very funny story because how I discovered University of the Free State was I was going to my brother's graduation at UCT in 2002, and we passed in this town called Bloemfontein.
Okay. Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
saw a university. I was like, this is nice. It's quiet. It's relaxed. And because I am a small village girl, I didn't like the city.
Okay.
And so that was such a good fit for me. And I never forgot about it. So when I applied for my university in 2006, when I finished my matric, that's exactly where I went.
Okay.
All right. Then from, my studies, once I was done in Bloemfontein, I started working 2012,
What did you study there?
become accounting degree.
Sure, interesting.
Yes.
I know me, I ran from accounting. I struggled with that thing. And so even in matric, I dropped accounting for history. You wouldn't believe it.
Really?
I was struggling so much. And then I took up history just so that I could get good enough grades to be able to study what I wanted to study. And that helped a lot. But in the end, still in university, we had to do different forms of accounting. So you can never run away from it.
You can never run away from accounting, especially as like if you're an entrepreneur as well. You can never run away from accounting. So for me, accounting, I nearly also dropped it actually in high school.
Oh, okay.
They just changed teachers, and once they changed the teachers, I found, that love. I was like, is this how accounting is? It wasn't because I was bad at it. It was because, I got the right teacher. And I think then she said to me, you know what? You can actually study become accounting.
It's amazing the power of a teacher. Eh?
It's
And the right
amazing
teacher.
if you get the right person to teach you anything. They make it so much easier. And I think from there, my life was supposed to go a different direction. I thought I was going to be a climatologist.
Wow.
And look at climates and do this because I did geography. That's what I was good at. But I was also good at maths. So I had to, pair it with something. But accounting, changed my life because I thought, okay, let me go study accounting. And I was quite good at it when I, went to varsity. However, life took me a different...
That's how life is,
Life takes you a different direction.
And this thing you remind me when you're talking about climatology. I remember when the headmaster, I ended up taking a psychometric test with the headmaster.
Yeah.
And he looked at all my interests and so on. And then in the end, he said, okay, cool. What you're really passionate about and what you should become is a marine biologist. And I looked at him and I thought, you want me in the water? Haven't you seen that I'm black? What's going on, dude?
You don't like me.
But it's interesting how we get shaped and the direction that we take after. I studied actuarial science at Pretoria University.
Nice.
And but it takes across different realms and things like that.
Yes.
Now, when I'm checking with you, as we spoke a bit with accounting, I know you spoke that you actually ended up spending quite a bit of time working at FNB as well for quite some time. How did that happen? How long did you stay there?
So I was at FNB for 9 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Exactly 9 years. And I decided to, of course, go into entrepreneurship. But when I started at FNB, I was from, I was back in the industry of financial planning.
Okay.
I just discovered the love for financial planning, because when I left varsity, my dream was to become an accountant, go into the CA stream. But I saw how people struggled, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. However, when I started working, my first job was a financial advisor.
Okay.
And then I developed my love for financial planning. I then studied a postgrad in financial planning.
Wow.
While I was studying the postgrad in financial planning, then I started working for FNB.
Okay.
So now I go into the space. I am in the middle of my postgrad. Then I become I become a consultant in the bank, where we are assisting clients in terms of the different service providers. We are advising them, but we were like, at the time I was not really giving the advice. I wasn't the financial planner or the financial advisor.
I see.
I was a consultant helping the financial advisor. Right? Then 7 months in, I got promoted. I became a financial advisor. Yes. Within the 7 months in, I passed my postgrad in financial planning, and now I was equipped to actually give advice.
Okay.
And I was comfortable as well now, because then I knew that my conversations with clients were now on a deeper level, on a more understanding level. But during that process, I also realized that I loved estate planning, right? Because now there's a specialty that you can specialize in investments, you can specialize in estates, and I decided I'm going to specialize in that.
Okay.
But even with that, then I got a promotion where I became a team leader to manage the same team that I was in at FNB. Then from there, I became an operations manager.
Okay.
Now I am building systems. Now I am putting in things to make the business run efficiently. The department, because the department that I was in was quite new as well, because remember, FNB is known for banking. And now they were coming into this new world of advisory.
Okay.
And so, we needed to build in systems to ensure that, they're as effective as the banking side.
Okay.
So then I become an ops manager, just to ensure that, we build those rails in place to ensure that everything that we do is within the parameters, because it's also a highly regulated industry. So those were the things, that I had to look at as an ops manager. Then, of course, I moved into a role where now I was on the banking side.
Okay.
As a sales and service manager, I took care of private bankers, private advisors, because they were going on a journey of integrating banking and advisory. So I was there to, help with that in the different department. Then, of course, my last role that I worked in, I was an advice enablement specialist, where I supervised advice.
Oh, okay. So that's like if I'm hearing correctly, that's almost to make sure that the type of advice that is being given by everybody makes sense and
it's correct.
Okay.
Correct. You're spot on.
That means that you know your story then.
So yes, I do know my story. I'm brilliant.
Okay. And then so that was your last role. So for yourself, did you always think you were going to go into business? How did you end up in business?
So I've always thought I'll go into business. And I think it started earlier on in my career, where I worked for a brokerage. And when I was in that brokerage, I think the light bulb came in, and I said, wow, you are able to provide clients with a basket of different service providers to help them actually meet their goals. Because at the end of the day, client needs to meet their goals. But what I realized is I needed the exposure. I was still very new in the industry. I needed to learn, the different ways of doing things, get to, meet the right people, make the right connections, but also educate myself in the process so that I get to the place where I want to be. So I already kind of had it, I think by 2013, a year after working, I already had this plan in my head, but I knew it required money.
Yes.
I knew it required me to be comfortable with the knowledge, because financial advisory is broad. And because it's people's lives that you impact, it's people's livelihoods, it's people's money. People's money. So you can't be unsure. You need to go out there, make sure that you know what is happening, understand how to run a business. And for me to do that, I need to expose myself to the different business units to see how they run, how they operate, at what scale, so that then I'm able in the future to become an entrepreneur, even though I didn't know the time.
Yes.
I didn't know when, but I knew that I will wake up one day and know. But during that time, I was planning. I was working on myself.
It's actually interesting because when I look at that journey, I mean, because you get quite a platform and you're able to engage then through the bank with a plethora, just lots of different
Yeah.
individuals, businesses,
Yes.
and things of that sort. I know with yourself now with the Blue Star, it's just been under a year.
Yeah.
What have you found that has been different now when you full time in business compared to when you were working in corporate?
I got a rude awakening. You wear multiple caps at the same time.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody's pulling you in all different directions. And you need to make sure that you're accounting for everything. So when you're in corporate, you're working on one role.
Yes.
Now you need to look at the financials. Now you need to look at money. Now you need to make payments. Now you need to make sure that systems are in place. And now you're struggling and you need to find them. You don't have somebody going and finding systems for you. So there's a lot of things that, I figured, sure, I used to take this for granted.
Yeah.
And now I need to do all of these things myself. I need to think about what is the next thing that we're doing? How does the business keep running? And now I need to always, have all those caps all the time.
Okay.
Because it's still new. And I need to, be able to kind of oversee everything for now. Just for now.
Okay.
Just to oversee and see how things are running. And as time goes by, of course, that's when we will get in more people to ensure that then I am not overseeing everything. But because the team is still quite small, I'm overseeing everything for now.
Now, I want to check before we go into a bit more into your business. I mean, obviously, because a lot of entrepreneurs watch this podcast. As you engage with the people that are working for themselves, entrepreneurs, people who work for corporates, what are some of the mistakes you see money-wise that entrepreneurs that we make?
Sure. Entrepreneurs don't plan.
Okay.
All right. We say we do, but you see it in the way they spend their money.
Okay.
Right? And I'll give you an example. I think it's always better that way. You receive a contract, you look at revenue, you're receiving R1 million, you think, I've made
That's
my first
nice.
million. That's nice. That's a lot of money. And then you upgrade your lifestyle. Then inflation, lifestyle creep comes in. Oh, let me buy myself a nice car. I deserve this. I started the business. I deserve this. Right? Let me buy myself a nice house. But then you're forgetting that was a once-off contract, number one. Right? And you need to, work on your business, invest in your business. So we don't know how to differentiate between revenue and profits.
Sure. Yeah.
We think revenue that's coming in is our money.
Because revenue is not profit.
It's not profit. Revenue comes in, but then there's costs that comes after that, right? You need to invest in the business. You need to create liquidity in the business. You need to create reserves in the business.
Yeah.
But we don't think about those things. Whereas corporates do think of those things. They put those parameters in place. And so when big things happen like COVID,
Sure.
they're able to sustain themselves during that
100%,
time.
yeah. Because COVID came in and just did the madness.
And it did not warn anybody.
No.
It did not give us 30-day notice to say, guys, get your affairs in order. I'm going to go on full lockdown. No. So I think as small business owners, we struggle. I've worked with small business owners in the bank as well, where you oversee and you see that people confuse revenue with profits.
Let me check. In your view, how should entrepreneurs go about, let's say, structuring their income?
As in them earning an income. I think as entrepreneurs, it's important that you look at how much your salary needs to be.
Okay.
Right? And be honest. Look at market-related salaries of your role or the part you play in the business. If you are going to, let's say, underpay yourself, then you'll continue drawing from the business. You understand? So if you tell yourself, I'm going to pay myself 20,000 Rand, however, 10 days in, you're already withdrawing another 10,000. Then you're withdrawing another 15,000. Then those things don't make sense. So sit and be honest with yourself and say, what is my income as a business owner or as a CEO of the business or as a managing director of the business? Because we do you do have a role in the business. What is your role? Understand what is the market related salary for business owners. Or you can look at your profits and see, how as a business owner you can reward yourself, right? But within the right parameters.
Yeah.
And that way, then you're able to then not draw into your business at any time because you've got a salary. Okay. The same way your employees have a salary, you give yourself a salary that is consistent.
Okay. Now let me check as well. When, as you've been working with different entities, when do you think it makes sense for an entrepreneur to bring in a financial planner?
Oh, at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
You need to start. Remember, a financial planner helps you plan your life. You can't bring them in halfway through and then expect things, now you've messed up everything. Now they must do the fixing, all right? And that's not what we want. You want to, when you start your business, or actually even from your personal side, because remember, you'll have a financial advisor from the business side, you'll have a financial advisor from the personal side, but also you can have a combination of both. And it's important to have them from the beginning because they help you as you start your business from the beginning to see what are your plans, what are the incomes that are coming into your business, what revenue is coming in, what expenses do you have. If the expenses are more than the revenue that's coming in, what are we cutting down on? What are the cost cutting right now? Not when you're big and you're scaling and things are, expensive.
Yes.
You're looking at it now. That way, this person walks the journey with you through your business. Because now, if, for example, I've got my small business that I've started, I have people in place to help me because I won't see my own blind spots.
Yes.
I won't.
100%, yeah.
As much as I'm a professional and I can advise other people, I will miss my own blind spots. So somebody else will help me to say, this is the money that's coming into your business. This is the costs that are incurred by your business. These are the profits that you're making for your business. Now, based on these profits, we need to save.
Yeah.
Put some money aside so that in months where money is not coming in at all, you're still able to pay your employees, you're still able to pay all your costs, and you can still continue with business.
And then if I'm thinking as well about it, when I was in corporate, I mean, things were quite stock standard in terms of thinking about retirement, investments, all these different plans and so on. But now when I was full-time in business, that wasn't really clear because now, trying to run a business and sometimes some months there's far more days than money coming in and staff and all of these type of things to think of. But what would you advise, somebody growing their business and so on, because you're saying bringing a financial planner in the beginning, how would you advise them to be thinking about, retirement and investments as they're building their business and the different products as well?
So the financial advisor is going to cover the different aspects of your financial journey, all right? That speaks to risk, meaning if anything happens to you, and that could mean death, disability, and illness, right? The same way in corporate you would have all those benefits. As a business owner, you need to have them yourself. And we kind of neglect that as business owners because we're thinking, I don't know, if we are immortal, nothing will happen to us. Then, of course, there's the investment part. You start by saving, then you invest. Then, of course, they're going to be looking at your retirement planning.
Yes.
Right? The same way in corporate where they deduct from your salary, your pension, or your provident fund. The same thing should happen to you also in your business. And the financial advisor is there to help you make sure that those parameters are covered.
Okay.
And in that way, you as a business owner, you've got all of those things done. Then you're able, once you've done them for yourself, you're able to do them for your employees.
Oh, okay.
Because then it comes down to say, I've realized, because this person has told you the importance of having all of these benefits, right? Now, you then realize they're important for your employees.
Employees as well.
Yes.
And it's very important not to forget them as well.
Yes.
So now, I mean, if going back then, I guess, in terms of your business, currently now we're talking earlier, I mean, you've grown it a bit. How big is your team currently?
So we've got 10 members of the team. It's a mixture of financial advisors that are bringing the business in. Of course, we've got support staff that help with, running the business from the side of the administrative side. But also they help their financial advisors to process their business.
Okay.
And support them, and also support the business in what we are doing from a marketing perspective, brand awareness, doing different parts, or rather helping with parts of the business that we're trying to grow here. And we are looking to also expand the team. So we're in the process of actually
nice.
hiring more financial advisors. We need more financial advisors in the
Yeah.
business, because it is as much as there's a lot of us in this country,
Yeah.
and we need more of the financial advisors, so that we're able to assist business owners, especially small business owners, because people always think that for you to speak to a financial advisor, you must have lots of money. And that is the wrong misconception.
That's wrong conception.
You do not need to have a lot of money. You just need to have money that's coming in. It can be very small. You're a business owner. They help you plan. They help you plan. They help you get the right credit, for example, for your business. They help you, check what works and what doesn't work for you. Those types. So financial advisors are there to walk the journey, not when we've got money at the end.
Yes.
From the beginning. That's what they're there for.
And as you went about and growing the team, that's 10.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit
Yes.
already. As you went about growing the team, how did you go about finding people and finding the right mix? Did it all go swimmingly well? How did you experience it?
I'm one person. I like to hire professionals to do things. I hired a recruitment company to help me with recruitment.
Wow.
Because I am not an expert in recruitment.
Wow, look at that.
Yes. So I would rather get somebody who's good at something to help me.
That makes a lot
right?
of sense.
And that is investing in your business. Because then I'm not sitting looking at 100 CVs and then I must interview 10 people. Then I must no, I could be using my time for something else. So what I do is I hire somebody, and that is investing in the business. Yes, I have to pay them a fee to help with the process. That's what I do, because then that gets me the right people, gets me the right, people for my team that will fit into the culture and will be the right fit as well. So for me, I would rather hire a professional to help me. And as a small business, there are lots of small businesses that are in the recruitment business. So I don't go for the big corporates. I go for the other small businesses. I met the lady that I'm using for my recruitment. I actually met at the event.
Yes, the Entrepreneur's Year-End event, yes. Oh, that's a nice
and I
collaboration.
also met my accountant on my personal side, also from the same event.
Oh, wow, look at that.
You see? So when I was there, I was walking around. I spotted some small businesses and I asked them about their services and they spoke to different parts, two different
That
companies.
you might need.
Yes, and I said, I am in the middle of hiring and I need somebody to help me.
Okay.
And they are there.
Oh, wow.
Do you understand? So they're a small business, so I can afford them. Because what we always think when we think hire a professional, we're thinking 50,000 rand, 60,000 rand. No, we are looking at another
What the
small
business
business
can be able to manage.
but also because I thought it's an investment for the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's actually interesting because, from what I'm seeing there, many entrepreneurs that I've spoken to, when they talk about how they go about recruiting people and staff and the challenges and things like that. And it's so interesting because we're in corporate. When we were in corporate, it's, there's some recruitment agent that will send you a whole list. But then now when it's your business, now you go and you struggle.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a lot of people in their business where they would have utilized a recruitment agency.
Yeah.
It's actually very, very clever.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
Yes. And that also applies to other parts of the business, not just recruitment. That can help with the finance side. Because remember, the recruitment company helps with recruitment, but they also help with HR function.
Okay.
Right? Then you've got your accounting side. But accounting side, there's different sides. There's accounting, then there's the tech side, then, so you would rather then pay somebody to do that because it's an investment in yourself. You make sure that you're always compliant. But also when you've got all those parameters in place and you've got a agency that you're paying, then when you need to apply for funding, you need to apply, for cash flow for your business.
Yes.
Everything of yours is ticked and it's 100%. So it's you investing in your business by doing that.
And I guess that's key because I don't know where you got that from. Maybe it's because of your experience beforehand in corporate, but just also that understanding of the need to invest in your business at the same time. Because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we miss that part.
We miss that part. I mean, you know the saying of where they say you need to spend money to make money. And we need to literally do that as entrepreneurs. We must spend money to make money because how else will you scale if you don't invest in your business? How else will you? Because now you're trying to do everything yourself. And they always say, if you're going to be doing everything else, then you'll never master anything. A jack of all trade is a master of none. So you make sure that you hire people that are good at what they need to do so that you can keep moving forward, but also you're attracting the right type of clients as well for yourself.
And then if I want to check, is there an example that you can think of, a client that you've worked with, maybe an entrepreneur, where as you and the team have engaged with them and you've been helping them, you look back and you just think, you know what, I'm in the right space. You know, we are doing good work here. That's actually made you feel like, our company is really of value. Is there an example that you can give us?
So I think when you can create wealth for a client, separate also from their business, then you know you've won that client.
Nice.
Right? I think we do engage with a lot of clients that usually now with a side hustle culture.
Yeah, side hustle.
We've got a side hustle culture. So a lot of people that are working in corporates also have a side hustle. So that is our daily bread. We deal with those type of clients. But I think where I can give a good example is where we help a client, right, to actually leave the corporate space into entrepreneurship because now the business is sustainable and you are able to put reserves and savings
look at
for the client. Because remember, even if you're moving from corporate like I did with myself and you're moving into entrepreneurship, you need to have money to sustain you for the next year because you can't be stressing about money during that time. You need to focus on running the business and money shouldn't be a hindrance, especially on the personal side. Right? And so when you get to the part where the client is able to sustain the business, but also is able to save money in their business to create reserves.
Yes.
And also invest long term. Because remember, when we think savings and put in reserves, we're thinking short term. No. We're also looking at long term. Can you put money aside, 2 million around, aside from your business, knowing that you will touch it in 10 years' time?
Wow. And that requires a lot of discipline. Eh?
Yeah, it does.
And I've noticed, there's a big culture here, of course, where delayed gratification is not sexy. You don't see that being posted on social media.
No.
So it is quite a difficult mindset for people to have.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So, and for yourself, what are the type of clients that you engage with? What are your ideal clients that you normally look to work with?
So we're looking at small businesses. They are the underserved. They are underserved when it comes to, the advice component, especially the advice component. People always feel when they go to the big companies, they're right at the bottom. And so those are our clients. Those are the clients that we want to service.
Okay.
Because they feel that they're not worthy to be serviced because they're not making enough money. I get that a lot. But I'm not making enough money. I'm like, what is enough money? Enough money is very relative. Right? And so we want to start the journey with you. We don't want to find you when you're making 10 million. We want to help you get there.
Okay.
And so a lot of small businesses don't get there because they don't have somebody guiding them to help them to get there.
Okay.
And for them to kind of work and fulfill their vision. So a lot of co-founders or entrepreneurs, we have a vision. We have a vision of what we want. But sometimes the problem is execution. We cannot execute it. We cannot quantify it and then execute it.
Okay.
And so that's where the financial advisor comes in, sits with you, shows you, and then guides you through that right path. And when you kind of, deter, they're there to say, come back. This is where we are. This is where you wanted to go. This is your vision.
Yes.
And yes, you can make changes as as things change, as life changes, but at least they are there to guide you to the end goal of where you want to be. And usually it is to create wealth.
Okay. Okay, no, cool. No, thanks for that. I mean, if you're looking back now, I mean, obviously the journey that you've had outside of corporate now and full time in business, and what it can also be from your previous experience within corporate, is there any advice that you'd give for an entrepreneur watching or listening to this based on your experience? Is there any lasting words that you'd like to leave with the entrepreneur watching this?
I think planning, you cannot run away from planning. You don't plan your life, you'll not go anywhere. So plan. And if you can't plan, get somebody who can help you plan. Get a business manager, get a financial coach, get somebody, take accountability for that. Then you'll be able to get to where you want to go. So planning is number one. Number two, pay yourself a salary. Pay yourself a salary. Do not use your business account for personal use. Swiping at Nando's, swiping at at spot, like you're busy swiping around on the business account. Pay yourself a salary and spend from your personal account. Entrepreneurs really struggle with that. Find out what is your worth and what your salary is going to be, and stick to that.
Okay.
Right? Number three, plan for your life. So as entrepreneurs, there's a big thing that we don't do. Like, I mean, you were mentioning about benefits, retirement. You're talking about, then I come into business, then I'm not planning for my retirement. Same with risk. I always say, remember, if the business, you are the center of the business. If anything happens to you, then your business dies with you, right? And when I mean die with you, I mean you could be disabled. You don't have to die.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't die. You just get disabled. You just have a life-threatening disease. And now your business collapses because you are the center of that business. And now you can't function. You can't speak. You can't go out to clients. You can't commute. And now you can't pay for your house. Now you can't run the business. So there's all of those things that as business owners, we don't take care of.
Okay.
We don't take care of the parts where are important to secure ourselves in the event that we die, in the event that we are critically ill, or we get disabled and we're unable to work. So entrepreneurs need to really, really, take that and actually take it very seriously.
Okay.
Because then that's why a lot of entrepreneur businesses die when the founders are gone.
Sure. No, thank you so much for that. One of the things that I've actually taken from listening to you and your story that's been an aha moment for me has just been in relation to number one, just how you went about utilizing and to collaborate with other business owners at the Entrepreneurs Year-End event, making connections that will actually make sense for your business. But more so than that, it's actually the first time hearing about just applying yourself like a corporate in different areas, even as simple as when you need to hire staff, engage a 100%. Recruitment company to be able to, as best as possible, make your time stretch for the things that it needs to be focused on.
Yes.
But also to be able to get in the right type of people into the business, to be able to get the right type of culture.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for sharing your story. It's been quite inspiring, and I'm sure the audience will enjoy it as well.
Yes.
If they're looking to reach through to your team or your company, they want to do business with you or reach through to yourself, how can the audience reach you?
So we've got our social medias. We are on LinkedIn, right? And also I've got my personal profile on LinkedIn as well, so they can reach out to me, Kgaogelo Sekgota. We're also on Instagram, where we've got the business name Titimba Financial Services, which they can find on Instagram, but they can also find me under my personal profile, which is Kgaogelo_Sekgota on Instagram, and Facebook, same. But also we've got a podcast.
Oh, nice.
It's called the Wealth Dialogue Podcast. It's also new, where we talk all things finance. We talk all real life finance with real examples. So that's where they can find us. But also our email address is admin at ttimba Financial Services. Sorry, it's admin@ttimba.com.
Okay.
That's where they can find us on email.
Okay, nice one. Thanks so much for being here, sharing your story, because at least now our audience can be able to learn
Yes.
and make the changes that they need to be able to make.
No, thank you for having me.
So, monetizers, yes, that brings us to the end of another powerful episode from the Monetize Your Business podcast, which we are very proud to be in partnership with FNB. This is another episode that we've gotten done. Don't forget to check also on our socials to be able to know when we're having another workshop. We could be having a workshop in your area. Of course, we travel nationwide as we do our workshops on entrepreneurial development, which we are very happy and proud to be doing in partnership with FNB. Until then, we'll have another episode next week. And until then, cheers and bye for now.